Hey guys, it's Carol. I wanted to talk to you guys today about resume writing and the two most important elements of a resume. Those are going to be formatting and also content. I want to talk a little bit about formatting because I think a lot of people get stuck just in the formatting, or they don't spend very much time thinking about formatting. And I would say that formatting is just as equally valuable as the content that you're going to be putting in. So a couple of quick things that I'll say about formatting. And by the way, I'll make a separate video to talk about how to format a resume. I'll make that as a separate video, but I'll go through top to bottom from the header section all the way down through to tell you what each section probably should look like. But I wanted to just, plant a few seeds with you about formatting because, again, a lot of times I think it's overlooked. And the biggest thing to think about with formatting is consistency. If you've got your employer names in bold in one area, you want to have those same types of information bold in other areas. If you have bullets in one section, have bullets that are the same size, type, and positioned in the same way in other sections. The idea behind the formatting is that it's so clear, clean, easy to follow that an employer can get in for the probably 10 to 15 seconds he or she is going to scan your resume, get in to get the information, and then get back out. So with formatting, I would say definitely spend some time on that. I know it can be challenging for some people because they try to use a template with some kind of software. That can be challenging because sometimes those templates get you locked into only this many number of jobs or only this many, places for education. I've been in those positions where I've tried to use a template before, and I really just kind of walk away from the experience saying, I guess I won't have a resume, because it was just so stressful and confusing. And so I recommend actually just starting from scratch. I personally use Microsoft Word, and I've created a template that I give to the students that I work with. And it seems like that's pretty easy for them because my template doesn't have any locked formatting. They can just click right over the top of the information that I've put in. And it even saves the formatting for them. Keeping in mind that if you were going to do something like that, if you're one of my students and I send you the template, when you open my document in a different version of Word, there could be some changes that have to be made to formatting, but in general, ideally it would save you a lot of time. If you're not using a template that I have, again, you could just create your own. And one of the things that's helpful is to just put the content in and then go through and format it. And again, I'll have a separate video talking to you about how to format each section so that it serves its purpose of supporting the resume and driving the employer right to the content, which is the second most valuable element, if you will. But the other quick thing I wanted to say about formatting that I hear most often is that sometimes people get so frustrated with trying to format their resume and overwhelmed maybe that they end up paying people to make resumes for them. And I would maybe caution against it unless you're one of those people who just says, listen, it's going to take me 37 hours to do this and it's just more efficient if I pay somebody, then okay. But if you pay somebody to format a resume for you, I would say make sure they give it to you in a Microsoft Word version that allows you to edit it as you need to going forward. If somebody's only willing to give you a PDF, which means the formatting is locked, that's not a great resource for you, because then every time you need that resume updated, you've got to go back to that person or figure it to start from scratch, right? So I recommend, again, make it yourself. I'll walk you guys through, which is why I've got a monitor behind me. In some of the next videos, I'm going to show you through and I'll model for you how to change the formatting so that you can save yourself that money. I've worked with lots of people over the years who've said, gosh, I've paid $300 for a resume. And one, I looked at it and it's maybe not that great. And two, they couldn't change it. And so then each and every time after that moment in time, they were forced to pay somebody up to $300 again. And I don't want that. I don't want you guys to have to spend money just for something that you could do on your own. So that's just kind of scratching the surface of formatting. The other thing I wanted to talk about again is content. Obviously, you're going to have content in your resume. That's what the employers are looking for. And I will make a separate video explaining what your content should include, what it shouldn't include. But the biggest takeaway I would say for content is when you're first creating a resume, or even if you're kind of surfacing with a resume, maybe you're making a career change or you just haven't created a resume in a long time, put everything in it. Put everything you have done that's appropriate and legal. Put it on your resume, because once you get all of it in, then you can decide what to take out, what to move, what to reprioritize, all of that. You can reconfigure only after you see everything in its totality. Some of the challenges I see people have with their resume when they come to me for help, especially with content, is they say, well, I really haven't done anything, so I don't have anything to put on my resume. And usually I dig a little, because I just find that that's not very possible, unless they were doing things that were very inappropriate or illegal. In which case, though, you can be surprised. There are some things that may seem less appropriate that still could show up on a resume in an ethical way. But that's a conversation for maybe another video. But in any case, put everything in it. A couple of things that I hear most often is, I didn't do anything because, well, I was in the military for 20 years. So I really didn't do anything. And to that I say, well, obviously that's crazy talk. First I say thank you for your service, because without you, the rest of us wouldn't be, safe and able to talk about resume writing and things that we're passionate about in this kind of capacity on social media. So first, thank you for your service. Secondly, just by being in the service as a nature of a career, it shows that you're one of those people or a type of person who would go above and beyond. And usually hardworking, usually, what's the word I want? Punctual, reliable, dependable, maybe a critical thinker. So that section should not be left off a resume, whether it was 2 years or 20 years. It definitely should be there. And in a subsequent video, I can talk about how to sort of translate any military experience so that the content speaks to the employer that you want to see and hire you. The second thing that I hear often is, well, I haven't really done anything in the last 20 years because I've been raising kids. Also, very difficult job, probably the hardest job there is. And I think you're remiss or you're missing something if you don't quantify your experiences as a parent. Most of the parents I know are also very hardworking, great with time management, budget, project management. There are things that you could leave out, certainly in terms of content, things that might relate to runny noses and things like that, unless of course you're applying for a medical job. But there is a way to quantify that experience. And certainly the same is true if you had to care for a loved one for 5 years and you're not sure how to quantify that experience. We can talk about that, because that should show up in your resume. Just because you weren't paid for something doesn't mean it wasn't work and doesn't mean it wasn't valuable. Two of the biggest things. One is really think about your formatting, and maybe watch another video where we talk about the formatting. Two, go ahead and put all of your content. Don't worry about how many pages. Don't worry about how many years back your content goes to start with. Just put it all in, and then we'll work through. I'll give you, again, more tutorials on how to figure out what to put in and what to leave out. I'd be very interested in hearing from you all if you have specific questions for me for content or formatting, or both, or if you have ideas in terms of length of videos that you'd like to see. This is new for me, obviously, in terms of recording, and most of you know I'm not super technical, so I won't be doing a lot of editing, but I will be doing some live streaming. That way I can model changes to a resume on my monitor, and then you guys can see them behind me. So I'm interested in making this interactive for you and trying to make it as valuable as possible, so that you can do more of these things on your own and you don't have to pay somebody else to help you with them. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Again, I will have more videos to come, and I'll look for your comments. Thanks so much for watching. As I always say, find your passion and make it happen. Thanks, guys. Bye.